Hi, it's Tash. Welcome to Tash's Library. Today's video is awesome. It is going to be my April TBR with my new game board and my new cards. I am so excited to use these and they just look so good. I can't wait. Anyway, so I'm just going to also have to consider, however, Orilium, which was developed by Book Roast, and I'll put the link down below because it is Spring Equinox, and so there are other prompts that I need to consider. Now, to make this super easy for myself, and also because I actually quite like animals, I have decided to go with the Beast Master career, and so that's going to require 5 prompts fulfilled. One of them is lore, which basically is just reading this 1-page legend of deer, which is pretty quick. The other 4 are going to be elemental studies, which is going to be a light source on the cover, so I'm going to have to keep an eye out for that. Also animal studies, which is a yellow title. Alchemy, which is a circle on the cover. And restoration, which is a book that I think could cure slumps. So I'm just going to keep those in mind as I choose my books. But I'm still going to do my TBR game because I so want to get onto these cards. And here's my new board and cards. I'm really happy with these. As you can see, I have redone the colors and the cards match much more closely. And I've had cards actually properly made, so they shuffle really easily and they really beautiful. So red is it's a vibe. That is going to be basically tropes and genres and anything in terms of the feel of the book. From cover to cover are going to be cover prompts. What's in a name are going to be title prompts. All in the making is about authors and publication. And green is it's so random. I've kept this, but I've made those green because green's my favorite color. Once again, each color corresponds to a particular spot on the board, and I've retained the bookworm spots where if I land on those, I get to play the bookworm game. Once again, I'm going to play my trusty little Eeyore Lego piece, and I'm going to use 2 dice. However, this time I actually have a proper dice throwing tray, which is going to be heaps easier and heaps more fun. And so that's just going to slot on top, and hopefully that works quite nicely. And Eeyore is going to start down here on this particular bookworm spot. If I throw a double, I add another roll. I'm going to start with 8 rolls. It is generally a little bit ambitious for me, but I like to have the choices, and it means that if I don't finish a book, that is fine, but at least I have enough books to get on with for that month. And I do read a lot better when I actually have a very set TBR. So without further ado, let's start with the first roll. And that is a 7. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a yellow. And I have shuffled these, so I'm just going to pick the top one. So it's all in the making, and this is a book published this year. That's pretty exciting. In this case, it'll be a 2024 new release. There's not a lot of them that I have on my TBR, but there are a couple, and I should be able to pick one of those quite easily. So the first card was an all in the making card, which is a book published this year. So for this one, it was a super easy choice because there is a book that I am dying to read, which I got last month, and I really do want to get onto it ASAP, and that is The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. This sounds awesome. I've heard it's kind of like a fantasy Sherlock Holmes, and those are 2 things I love. But anyway, so it's an opulent mansion at the borders of the empire. An imperial officer lies dead, killed when a tree spontaneously erupted from his body. Nothing like murderous plants, right? Even here where contagions abound and the blood of the Leviathans works strange magical changes, its adept at once terrifying and impossible. Called in to solve the crime is Anna Delabra, an investigator whose reputation for brilliance is matched only by her eccentricity. At her side is a new assistant, Tinios, an engraver, magically altered to possess a perfect memory. Soon, the mystery leads to a scheme that threatens the safety of the Empire itself. For Anna, all of this makes a deliciously thorny puzzle. Yes, this sounds so good. I'm so excited to read this one. And so this one is really going to be prioritized this month. Roll number 2 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's a red. Let's go with a red card. It's a vibe. And it's a book with an isolated setting. That should be fairly fun to find. So this could be an island, a desert, a forest, or just like a deserted house or something like that. Let's see what I can find. And it's a vibe. I got a book with an isolated setting. For this one, I'm going to choose a little horror book that I have wanted to read. It's sort of like sci-fi horror. So this is Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. I'm going to be reading this on my Kindle. And it's Titanic meets Event Horizon, in a science fiction horror novel in which a woman and her crew aboard a decades-lost luxury cruiser, and they find the wreckage of a nightmare that hasn't yet ended. So it sounds pretty good. Like, it's a luxury space liner that has vanished, and there's a salvage crew, and I can imagine there's some pretty horrific things on that cruiser. Roll number 3 is a double. Of course it's a double, because it wouldn't be a TBR game without a double. Anyway, it is a 2, so that's 1, 2. That is a blue. I'm hitting all the colors this time. So what's in a name, which is a title prompt, and a pronoun in the title. Interesting. So that would mean it would have to have like she or it or they or yeah. That could be tricky. But anyway, let's see if I can find something to meet this particular prompt. And what's in a name? We got a pronoun in the title. This is a fun little prompt. So I have to use anything like I or you or we. And in fact, I'm going to read a book that I am really looking forward to. I've heard some great things about it. And that's The Monsters We Defy by Leslie Penelope. I'm going to read this on my Kindle as well. And obviously the word we is in there. So that's the pronoun in the title. Now I'm also going to be using this one, I think, for restoration for Orilium, because I actually think this could be a book that cures slumps. Prediction, I think it could, because it follows Clara Johnson, who can talk to spirits. And so when a powerful spirit offers her an opportunity to gain her freedom, she sees it as a chance. The task, steal a magical ring from the wealthiest woman in the district. So it's a daring heist, and she collects an unlikely team, a handsome jazz musician, able to hypnotize with a melody, an aging actor who can change his face, etc. And there's a conflict in the mystery world. It sounds pretty good. It's like an historical fantasy. I believe it's set in sort of jazz age US with a very, very cool fantasy twist. Magical heist. What more could I want? I reckon this is one to cure slumps. Roll number 4 of 9 now is a 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that is a purple. From cover to cover is a cover prompt. And this one is a beautiful cover. That should be fairly straightforward to find, because I have a lot of books with beautiful covers. In fact, it might be a bit tricky. From cover to cover, I got a beautiful cover. Always a really fun prompt, a little bit subjective, but this gives me a chance to read something a little bit different once again. And it's The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This was a Christmas gift, so it's about time I got to it. But look at that cover. It is so beautiful. The books and so this magical setting. It just looks so gorgeous, and it's really velvety and fun. So this is basically Lucy Hart knows better than anyone what it's like to grow up without parents who loved her. In a childhood marked by neglect and loneliness, she finds solace in books, namely the Clock Island series by Jack Masterson. Now a 26-year-old teacher's age, she's able to share her love of reading with bright young students, especially 7-year-old orphan Christopher Lamb. Jack Masterson then announces he's written a new book and there's a contest, etc. I'm not even going to read anymore. I don't want to know anymore. But what I mean, it's got books in it. I love books about reading and the love of reading and how books can enhance your life. And I think this is going to be a great little book to read. Roll number 5 of 9. Has another double. Okay, so that's a 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's a yellow, all in the making, which is about publication and authors. A standalone. Nice. Okay, so it can't be a series, part of a series. I have a few standalones that I actually do want to get on with. So yes, this should be good. It doesn't, meet my goal of trying to complete series, but a standalone is always a really nice palette breaker. And another all in the making. And this is a standalone. So the one I'm going to go with at the moment is a book that may not be a standalone forever, but at the moment it is. And as far as I know, for a while, it definitely will be and may continue to remain so. And that is The Arithmetist by Brandon Sanderson. This is sort of like a middle grade Brandon Sanderson, I believe. So it's a school for the magically gifted where your talent could cost you your life. So Joel is fascinated by the magic of arithmetics, but few have the gift and he's not one of them. So he persuades Professor Fitch to teach him magical theory. He can't infuse his protective lines and circles of power or bring his chalk-drawn creatures to life, but he's quick to master the underlying principles. And then there's an extraordinary test when the top arithmetist students are kidnapped from his academy. Look, I love Brandon Sanderson. This is a book that's been on my shelf for quite some time. And also, I could have actually done this for the Wishing Game as well, but I'm going to use this one for elemental studies because it does have a source of light in the cover. It's got multiple stars. Yes, so let's use that for that, and that should get done then. Almost. We're getting there with Orilium as well. Roll number 6 of 9 is a 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that is a purple, another cover prompt. A cover with only text or patterns. Okay, so not illustrated per se, so it can't have a landscape or something like that, or a person. It's, okay, so there's a few of those. Not as many, but there are a few. Now from cover to cover, and this is a cover with only text or patterns. This one, I'm going to continue a series that is a priority for me this year, and that is Isaac Asimov's Foundation's Edge. I'm also going to use this for Orilium's Alchemy, because it's got circles on the cover. So that fits in quite nicely. But yes, there's no real, there's only really patterns and text. So this one fits that prompt too. This one is just part of the Foundation series. Now, originally, the first book in the Foundation series looks at a psychohistorian who predicts the downfall of the Galactic Empire and predicts that unless something is done, there will be tens of thousands of years of Dark Age. The way to combat this period of time is to collate all human knowledge into an encyclopedia, and this, he predicts, will then shorten the Dark Age. So he establishes his foundation, which is a group of scholars dedicated to creating this particular encyclopedia. Now, I've read the first trilogy, and it's just an amazing epic story of political wheeling and dealing, and it's just so fun. I absolutely adore it. And I've heard the next lot aren't as good, but I'm still super keen to read this. I have really enjoyed Isaac Asimov, and my aim now is to just kind of work through all his books. But I'm going to do so by trying to finish the Foundation series first. So yep, this is a good one because it's on my 24 to be read in 24 as well. All right, roll number 7 of 9. Still haven't hit It's So Random. That's the only color we haven't hit. Let's hope for one of those. And that is a 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another yellow. A book written by a female author. Okay, I have heaps of those. That should be fairly straightforward. Another all in the making, and this time it's a book written by a female author. I'm taking this opportunity to complete a series because that is one of my aims this year. And I'm going to read Nnedi Okorafor's Binti number 3, which is The Night Masquerade. Binti's been great. It's like a little trilogy of novellas, effectively, and it follows Binti, who is the first person from her community to be able to travel to this university across the galaxy. So on the trip, though, bad things happen on the ship, and that starts like a really cool introduction to different species, etc. Anyway, I'm not going to say much more, but it's just a really fun series. I did like the first one best of all so far, but I'm kind of keen to finish the series and see what number 3 has in store. Roll number 8 of now 10. Okay, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's a purple, another cover prompt. And this one's a weapon on the cover. Cool. I have a few of those. In fact, any fantasy reader would have heaps of those. From cover to cover, I have a weapon on the cover. And I'm going to take the opportunity to finish another trilogy with this one. I'm going to continue with the Sword of Shannara trilogy, and I'm up to the 3rd one, which is the Wish Song of Shannara. The bind-up I have of the 3 books does have a weapon on the cover, so that counts, I think. Also, I'm going to use this for Animal Studies for Orilium because I need a book with yellow in the title. And so, yes, that is close to yellow, like maybe orange yellow. But anyway, I'm going to count that as yellow, and then that's Orilium done. How easy was that? All right, so Shannara is just really fun. There is a little bit of criticism that the first book is very similar to The Lord of the Rings, but that's probably the reason why I really enjoy it, because I love The Lord of the Rings, and I just like, give me more of the same. I enjoy quest stories. I enjoy those epic traditional fantasies, and this is just a really fun quest fantasy where initially you have a chosen one who has to go off and save the world effectively. And yes, second one was awesome. It did actually veer away from that story a bit. It had its own little quest, and I'm guessing the 3rd one is just going to be just as much fun. And best of all, I would have finished this trilogy, which is super exciting. This is also one of the priorities for this year, and I do really want to continue with Terry Brooks, and I'm just going to be working through the Shannara series over time. Roll number 9 is a 9. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is a blue. What's in a name? Title prompt. A conjunction in the title. Nice. So it's got to have something like and or but in it. I mean, there's a lot of books of and, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Another what's in the name, and it's a conjunction in the title. And so for this one, I'm going to take the opportunity to read a shorter book once again, just like Binti, mainly because I do actually I'm getting quite a lot of books on this. And yes, I'm going to pick Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher because it's got and in the title. And Nettle and Bone is a fantasy about sisterhood. So after years of seeing her sister suffer at the hands of an abusive prince, Mara, the shy convent-raised third-born daughter, has finally realized that no one has come to the rescue except for her. So she seeks help from a powerful grave witch and is offered the tools to kill a prince if she can complete 3 impossible tasks. I've heard some great things about this one. I'm going to be reading it on my Kindle. And yeah, really looking forward to Nettle and Bone. I was supposed to read it a few months ago, didn't quite get to it. So hopefully I can now, because this has been on my TBR for quite some time. And the final roll, maybe. I mean, to be honest, if I have to throw more than 10, I'm not going to get to them all in the month. But anyway, okay, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it's a red. So did not get it so random. Oh well. It's a vibe, a book with representation of some kind. So this could be LGBTQI, it could be disability. Yeah, absolutely anything that's representation of some kind. Okay, let's go see what I can get. And finally, I have It's a Vibe, a book with representation. Now this is quite broad, but I have decided to go with a book that has been on my TBR for years now. And it's because it's a chunk and it's a bit intimidating, but I'm going to try and get to it. And I know I've got a lot of books on my TBR so far, and some of them are pretty big, and I'm keen to get to all of them, and I'm not sure how that's going to go. But I am going to try and read The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. Yes, it's a chunky little book. And actually, I couldn't use the word little really. But anyway, I believe it's a queer norm setting with LGBTQI rep. So I think that fits the prompt. Let me know if it doesn't. But that's what I believe at this stage. And it's about a world divided, a queendom without an heir, an ancient enemy awakens, and it supposedly blends politics with high adventure and epic fantasy. It sounds really fun, and I really like that kind of epic fantasy. I love dragons, I love all that sort of stuff, and super keen to get to this one. So yes, that will be the final book on my TBR. This is also a really beautiful cover. I love the scales and the dragon. But anyway, hopefully I'll get to it. Hopefully I can cross it off. It is one of the priorities of this year, mainly because it has been sitting on my shelf for so long. And I really, really want to get to it because I'm actually really keen to find out what it's all about. All right, I'm now starting to regret some of my choices just because this is one chunk of a TBR, plus books on my Kindle. Oh my gosh. I mean, the only good thing about this is that the bottom one is a bind up. So I'm only reading a third of that. But still, oh my gosh. But I'm excited. I'm going to obviously try and prioritize some of the ones on my priority list, along with the Orilium ones. But I really want to get to all of them. There are actually none of these books that I don't want to read. These have all been super high on my priorities, and I really hope I get to them all because I'm not having a great track record this year so far, but we shall try. That's all I can do. So thank you so much for watching. Until I see you next time, take care.